everybody. Welcome to Impossible Coin. I am Brian Cartwright, live from America's Boiler Room in Hell. And I am joined by Keegan Somerset from America's Center Mass.
True story.
And Rocky Hardy from America's Center Mass.
Fair enough.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why does hell have a boiler room?
Keegan, this is one of those things where, like, if you had seen, like, any horror movie, like, made from, like, 1980 to 89, or even a lot of action.
Any horror movie made before I was born. Okay.
I'm dying. I'm literally dying.
I knew that was going to happen. Hell yeah. Hook, line, sinker, baby.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I did open myself up to that. I recognize that what is happening right now is actively my fault.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you for participating. Thank you for podcasting.
Lol. Jesus. But yeah, during the 80s, there was, in both horror and action pictures, there sure were a fuck ton of boiler rooms. And for some reason, like, whenever, like, hell would happen, hell would have a boiler room. Like, Freddy Krueger, like, hung out fucking constantly in boiler rooms. Like, all the time. All the time. It was a vibe. But, you know, hey. I think the true hell is knowing that you are becoming increasingly old and have less way of connecting with people. That's the real hell. Oh
no.
Yeah. Oh no.
Impossible. I'm never going to get old.
There's a layer of darkness to that claim.
I'm just going to be like that old guy who's on TikTok who's like, I'm learning the new slang. And everybody loves him. That's what I'm going to do. Everyone, I will be beloved.
I think my current favorite person on TikTok is Chef Reacts because I appreciate his emotional energy so much.
He's so tired. Honestly.
I was gonna say he's exhausted except when he's not. But
yeah, he's just like, what the fuck is this? Damn it.
Teeks, there was one time where someone was making a pasta dish and they straight up poured uncooked pasta into a baking dish that still had the sticker in it.
No.
Like the first second. Like they
still had the sticker in it?
And he fucking like grimaced and he's like, oh, you know, this is gonna be some shit. They didn't even take out the sticker. And then the rest of the video happened. It was pretty great.
Then the rest of the video happened. Amazing. Oh god.
He's really brought attention around this like ridiculous thing where like there are so many fucking stupid white people who are just like recklessly and carelessly and gleefully participating in this rampant food waste where they're just trying to create like shocking food. You know, it's something that shocks in some respect, and you know as soon as they're done taking the one bite that they take on camera to prove that it's delicious, you know, that it just gets fucking hurled into their trash.
Right.
And every time he sees it, it just does so much psychic damage to him. And honestly, like, I have real appreciation for like that level of both common sense and empathy. Like, oh my god, like what a neat person Chef Reacts is, because it obviously pains him. One of my favorite things he ever did was he saw someone doing some of this bullshit, and he just snapped, and he's just like, fuck it. He's like, I hate this so much. This makes me so angry. He's like, if you're having trouble buying your groceries this week, just like, please let me know in my comments. He's like, I'm gonna like give away some $500 grocery gift cards. He's like, and it's not to a particular brand. This isn't sponsored or anything. He's like, let me know where you buy your groceries, and I'll buy you a $500 gift card there.
Aww.
Yeah.
Nice.
Chef Reacts is pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh god, the sticker in the fucking tray. Uncooked pasta seems to be like the first summoning sigil for those people. It really does.
Yeah.
They seem proud of the things that they do with uncooked pasta.
Except for that particular it's one TikTok account that he like I guess shares or duets videos with often, where they just like put 2 eggs into everything. It doesn't really matter what they're making. They just kind of throw 2 eggs into it, and it's just like this economy. Like it's so wild.
You've got money for 2 eggs? The store this morning, and eggs were $8 for a dozen. $8 a dozen.
That's $1.25 an egg. Do I have that right?
So much for eggs.
God, that's so goofy.
wild. It's crazy out here.
Oh, it's the other way. It's 75 cents an egg. Right? So take 8
It's
eggs.
too much money for an egg.
Divided by 12.
I got eggs because with my my like store card, it was like, oh, these will only be $6, and I was like, nah, I'll just wait. Actually, fuck that.
Yes. Actually, I got it wrong twice. It's 2/3 of a dollar. It's 66 cents. It's 66 cents an egg.
That's so much money.
Oh God, I don't want to.
It would be cheaper at this point for me to go down to Ohio's favorite store, Menards, and just fucking buy chickens. Like, I could raise chickens cheaper than it would be to buy eggs. Dumb, stupid. I hate it here.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's really one of the few things like, like there's not much that makes me sadder than like looking at friends on Twitter who are doing stuff being like, hey everybody, when I was done with my groceries this week, what I did was I held back some of the green onions that I bought because I figured, green onions can grow very easily. And so I've just stuck some of the green onions that I bought in this soil, and I hope it works out because I can't really afford to feed myself anymore.
Oof.
Hey everybody, welcome to Impossible Coin, where you can't go a full month on this podcast without Brian advocating for violent revolution. So here we are. This is that episode again. This is Brian advocating for violent revolution. This is Brian saying, sharpen the fucking guillotines. Oh, motherfuckers. Oh my God.
Spent my check on a guillotine. That probably, I feel like it would have been
with that cost of lumber. How are you gonna buy a guillotine?
Well, like now I can't, but like at the time when I got like my my Joe Beasy check, like I could have bought a guillotine outright.
This is where like I have to wheel out. One of my favorite Marx quote. I have to wheel out one of my favorite Marx quotes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
The last capitalist we hang will be the one that sold us the rope.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, so
I was going to make a joke, but then I realized we were going to have to do a huge disclosure about it, and so I decided not to. Aren't you proud of me?
Oh wait,
learning.
Well, Tegan, now I'm fucking intrigued because I'm certainly willing to do the disclosure. You can't just put that shit out there.
Okay, well, you do the disclosure, and then I'll tell you what I was going to say.
All right. Well, is it the regular one?
Yeah, it's the regular one.
Okay. Hey, everybody. There are many people and entities out there which speak for Amazon. Your host, Brian Cartwright, does not speak for Amazon.
Yeah.
Tegan, have at it.
We're going to buy that rope from Amazon.com, aren't we? We're going to be fucking hanging Bezos.
Oh, good Lord. Tegan went hard.
That's why I was like, we're going to have to do the disclosure. I hope you're ready. I'm also not actually advocating for the death of the CEO of, Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to get anybody in real trouble about this. This is a joke.
Like at any given point, he can.
Are you about to Santa Claus Jeff Bezos? He sees us when we're sleeping. He knows when we're awake. He listens to the podcast.
No, I was not going to Santa Claus him. I was out here saying like, hey, hey Jeffy Poo. It's like it's not too late for your Saul on the road to Damascus moment. You can wake up and like. You can distribute the entirety of your wealth. You could like wake up, scratch your sack, and go like, how would I just solve? Let's see here. What's the estimated cost of just solving housing insecurity in the United States? Oh wait, it would only cost about $30 billion to solve all housing insecurity in the U.S. Oh geez, no probs. And just do it.
I wish more billionaires would do what Mark Cuban is doing. Ironically, Mark Cuban's my favorite billionaire right now. I didn't know you could have a favorite billionaire, but I do.
Oh, a lot of people have favorite billionaires. Elon Musk is most people's favorite billionaire.
No, that's incorrect. Mark Cuban should be your favorite billionaire.
I just love that media outlets are by default now using that fucking Bond villain picture of Elon Musk.
It's pretty good, actually, yeah.
The one where he's like in the white tie, in the fucking tuxedo, and he's just like making that whole face with his head.
Okay, so if you guys are looking for a favorite billionaire, say you're really you're finally disillusioned with Elon Musk. Might I recommend Mark Cuban, the man who is single-handedly fucking with the pharmaceutical industry. Love him. He's great.
I hope it works.
So far, it's saving me personally $500 a month. So
That's a big deal. Yeah.
It's actually saving me more than that because we get I'm gonna shill for him for free. We started using Cost Plus Drugs for Alex's antidepressants. CVS wanted to charge us $500 for a 30-day supply of his antidepressants. And Mark Cuban at Cost Plus Drugs is charging us $75 for a 90-day supply.
Nice.
So, like, literally, fuck everybody else. Shit's wild out here now.
True.
But yeah, get yourself a new favorite billionaire.
Yeah, honestly. Jesus.
All right. I'm a little derailed because
That's okay.
I didn't, because we started thinking about like people who are perpetual disappointments, because we were talking about billionaires, right?
Mm-hmm. As we do.
Yes, as we do, because all my homies hate billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Or in the case of like Mark Cuban, we tolerate Mark Cuban because he is doing one good thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I did not realize until the new fucking stupid Shazam trailer dropped that like Zachary Levi was a terrible, shitty, like anti-trans, anti-vax, Trumpian Christian person.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow,
gross.
I was not issued that memo. Like I just did y'all know this about Zachary Levi?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who Zachary Levi is. In a beautiful world, apparently.
Zachary Levi he's a dude.
Mm-hmm.
Television actor usually, but now in the movies.
And what was the name of that fucking TV show he was on for 5 years? It sucked so much ass.
Do you mean Chuck? I guess
That's the one. Fuck that show. Oh my god! Like,
okay.
I could not. That was a show that I started watching at the beginning, and like I definitely tapped out because they did that thing on TV, the perpetual goalpost moving, where like each week the character of Chuck would be told by like spy headquarters whenever he wasn't working his stupid job at Best Buy,
Right.
which on that show they called it Buy More.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they'd be like, "Okay, Chuck, it's time for your final spy test." And then Chuck would go do something, which would propel the action for the week. And then at the beginning of the next week, spy headquarters would contact Chuck from inside of the Smoothie King next door.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, "Hey, Chuck, we just got to let you know that thing that you thought was your final spy test last week was in fact not your final spy test. This week is your final spy test."
Mm-hmm.
What a bitch.
Right. And like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me for 2.5 seasons, shame the fuck on me.
Yeah, GG's.
Yeah, like it got to a point where like I was just calling the show Final Spy Test, because like that is all that would happen. Like that, and like Chuck wanting to nail his spy handler, who was like the lady who worked at Smoothie King.
I mean, that's just like any spy story, right?
Let the record show that 47 never wants to fuck Diana. Never.
Fair enough.
Like 47 just fucking does the work. It's like, "Hi, bald, barcoded, and dedicated to my craft. Diana, I treat you like a professional. How are you? How's work?" Like that's like 47 is not out here trying to fuck Diana or thinking about fucking Diana or just like screwing the silencer onto his pistol going like, "Man, sure would love to fuck Diana." 47 is never about that. Ever.
I think that's fair, but
yeah,
and this might be a technicality, but I want you to hear me here. 47, while he does participate in espionage, is probably more assassin than spy.
Okay, I mean, but he is like balls deep in that world constantly.
That's true. I agree with you.
And then I suppose there's somebody else in the audience who might say like, "Hey, Brian, you're cheating because like 47 is also ace and arrow. And I'm like, okay, that's also true. But like, do we really want to discount the ace representation that is 47? Because for the most part, he's a fucking king. There's so many things that he does. He has a bumblefuck, sometimes sidekick, like a guy who's kind of like Felix Leiter, who works for the CIA, who just like shows up and fucks things up. And 47 is just like, you're kind of an idiot and vaguely charming, so I'm not going to kill you. But the emergency exit is to your left. Please don't die on your way out. Like, he does that. He's nice. He's okay. He kills the people he's got to. Then he goes. He fucking goes. And like once they got to the new trilogy, the people he kills are the folks who fucking have it coming because they decided to make the games like strictly anti-capitalist. Like you see, you want that guy who's going to use that last guillotine. It's 47. He'll be like, there we go. There we go. Oh, this is a pivot, but like, Keegan, I have a real question. I'm looking in the show doc here, and like, I have a concern that very soon a Nintendo product is going to be advocating for come and loose stool, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
I do, yeah. No,
Okay.
no.
I'm
Maybe
not
indirectly, but
Yeah,
not
yeah,
intentionally.
yeah. Can you tell us about the come and loose stool?
Yeah, so the new Splatoon Splatfest was announced for Valentine's Day. It's gonna be not December. Oh my god. I can read months. It's gonna be February 10th through the 12th. So that whole weekend. And it is what is your favorite kind of chocolate? Dark chocolate, milk chocolate, or white chocolate? And the colors that have been chosen for Team Milk Chocolate and Team White Chocolate are unfortunate. You know, as it happens.
I'm going to say one of those things that would I think would make for a great episode title, but we can't because we are carried on all caps platforms.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Nothing says Valentine's Day quite like come and loose stool. So there we go. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
It's a great time. So the dark chocolate color is like team color is like a dark purple. The milk chocolate is like an orangey brown. And then the white chocolate is very much like beige. But already the online community is going, did no one remember what happened with Team Mayo? So, we're having a great time.
This might be Nintendo's most deliberate effort to put together a watch list to hand to governments ever. Because, like, the white, like, there's definitely that suspicion that the white chocolate is going to be just the color that was used for Mayo, and not actually the beige represented here. But also, like, and white chocolate enjoyers, I'm afraid I'm about to alienate you. Who the fuck like looks at chocolate in general and goes, you know what? White chocolate, that's my favorite. Like, what the fuck?
White chocolate. So, I am of the opinion that all chocolate desserts are lazy, with the exception of that man who makes chocolate sculptures. That's different. He's doing a different thing entirely. That's not eatable. But that's that's not like eating chocolate. He's using fancy chocolate to make a fancy telescope or whatever. But chocolate generally is good. So any dessert that heavily features chocolate is going to be fine. Like, you're gonna like it if you like chocolate. So
white chocolate isn't chocolate. It just tastes like ass. White
chocolate tastes fine. I don't have anything against white chocolate personally. It's okay. It's not great. It's not terrible.
Like, I really do feel like the only thing that one gets out of white chocolate, or at least for me, it's just like if the white chocolate is like particularly sweet, then I'm like, oh, hooray, I'm tasting the sugar. But like, that's about it. That's about it. Like the actual like flavor of the white chocolate is just, like it's.
Yeah, if you don't balance the like cream to sugar ratio on white chocolate, it can get really, really bad really quick. But it's okay. I think Hershey's is onto something with the white chocolate for the cookies and cream bar. But that's like really about it. Otherwise, it's just fine. But we've decided we're going to be team dark chocolate this time.
Rocky, where do you sit on chocolate?
I don't care, actually. Like, I'll eat chocolate from time to time. I won't go out of my way to get it.
Okay.
And usually when I do eat chocolate, like, it's usually in public and it's usually to be polite.
So for you, chocolate is not a choice. Like you're out here not choosing chocolate on the reg.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Why would you choose chocolate on the reg?
Oh, like there have definitely been times where like there have been like particular desserts or candies which I enjoy, which involve chocolate. Like I definitely had like a Take 5 bar phase. Really enjoyed it. Yeah,
Those are good.
really, yeah, I really enjoyed the Take 5 bar back when candy bars had ambition. Those are nice. I'm also like totally cool with like like flavored chocolates, which is probably counterintuitive because like I'm so put off by white chocolate. But like you throw some fucking like Kit Kats in front of me, some like flavored Kit Kats, and I'm here for it.
You like flavored Kit Kats. You should go to Japan.
Yeah, I know. Like I've seen all those pictures
so
of like
good.
Like Kit Kat stores that like look like the Apple store with their like Kit Kat dispensers, and they've like definitely tapped into the idea of like seasonal Kit Kats, prefecture specific Kit Kats, store specific Kit Kats. Like, yeah, we only sell this Kit Kat at this store. And there was a point like in the early days of the panoramic personal pan pizza where I was just like, oh, neat, this is only going to last a month and a half. Why don't I order a bunch of Kit Kats from Japan to like entertain myself? And then I found myself doing it again, and then it happened a third time. I'm like, oh, this is not going to end anytime soon, is it? That was one of my this is not going to end anytime soon realization moments. The third time I reordered Kit Kats from Japan.
Oh my god.
It was also like when I was deeply getting into like Lay's potato chips from like Southeast Asia. But, because like you may think you know Lay's potato chips people, but you haven't had like their grilled lamb skewer flavor from Thailand. Here to tell you it's fucking delicious. Good lord. Like a good dark chocolate Toblerone, that goes well with like a neat bourbon. Just like sit there and have some bourbon and chocolate. But this Splatfest is just going to lead to looking like just somebody blew their load or had a whole bunch of apricots and couldn't get to the bathroom in time.
Again with the apricots.
I think it'll be fine. Ultimately, I'm not like I don't want to say anything for sure until I see it like in person. I think once the t-shirts are out, which the t-shirts won't be out for another week or so, we'll have a better idea of like what the ink colors are actually going to be like. But yeah, it's not looking good right now.
I had no idea that Zachary Levi got wasted on a podcast. Like, sat there with a bottle of fucking tequila, and then once he was wasted, did a rant about the blacks. How did I never get this memo?
Honestly, Brian, I don't think you really hang out in the circles where, like, people talk about Zachary Levi.
I do hang out in circles where, like, when somebody is, like, I guess, like, when people out themselves as total pieces of dog shit, I do generally get a lot of those memos.
Sure.
Yeah, and so like you would think like if somebody like does a bottle of tequila on a podcast and then does a rant, like a weird racist rant, like I would have been issued that memo. Like even if I wasn't getting Zachary Levi's specific memos, you would think I would get the memo about like celebrity man does bottle of tequila on podcast and then literally does a rant about air quote the blacks. Like what the fuck? Like what
All I'm saying is that like I know the stuff about Zachary Levi, but I know that the stuff about Zachary Levi isn't exactly like common cultural knowledge. I don't think a lot of people know about how fucked up Zachary Levi has been. That's why he was able to work with Disney and he's on fucking Shazam. But, you know, the people that do know because, you know, they're in those circles. They hang out around these people. That's all I'm saying.
Man. My goodness. Keegan, I see that you would like to talk about very new video games, Nier Automata, Genshin Impact, and Among Us, which are all the very newest of video games.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm clowning because I'm going to be also talking about world's newest video game, Hearthstone. So
yeah, honestly, like maybe Don't make fun of me for my video game choices, boy. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no. We played. So I played more Nier Automata this week on stream. It was a good time. I finally fulfilled my lifelong dream of completing the quest that Operator 60 gives you to find a flower and send her a picture of it. It made me very happy. Operator 60 is so good. 2B's operator is so sweet and so cute. She deserves everything in the world.
Okay.
So that was good for me. I feel good about that. I feel like I'm ready to continue with like the rest of the actual plot. We did the side quest where like you help some androids run away from the resistance, and during it you find out that the girl android has actually had her partner reset 6 times previously, and like 9S has some feelings about that as a scanner unit, which were fun. And we're gonna be, I think, continuing like the main plot stuff this week.
Okay.
So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Of course. Let's see what else. Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact Lantern Ride is on. It'll be over by the time this episode comes out, but I'm really enjoying it. It's fun. Again, it's always a lot of fun. This time, as part of our like special events, we got to participate in Chinese paper opera, which was fun. That was new. It was done as like a panel movie. Like there's a character who like walks across the screen and you rearrange the panels so that they can get to their destination without dying.
Sure.
But that was cool. And there were like your typical like race events, and like there was a boating event and that kind of stuff. But the Chinese paper opera was new entirely to like the game, and that was, I think, fun. Not like, it wasn't like crazy fun, but it was like it was a neat way to experience that kind of medium. What else? The storyline's really cute. Of course, we get to see Zhao again, which is very fun. He's very cute. He's a Sun boy, and every single Lantern Rite so far has been like has featured Zhao as like a central story character, and every single time he like opens himself a little bit more and like integrates himself a little bit more in the festivities of China, of Liyue itself, which is really cool.
Okay.
It's a neat way to explore like how you can gradually get people to come out of their shell by just like respecting their boundaries, but also pushing them just a little bit, you know? Like the first time he doesn't show up at all. The last year you're like, well, what if we just watch the lanterns together, but we do it outside of the city so you don't have to see any people? And he's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And so he does that. Like you and him watch the lanterns away from everybody. And then the next year it's like, well, what if you watch the lanterns, but like at the place where you live with like the people who provide you offerings? And he's like, yeah, okay, I can do that. And this year you get even closer. It's really cute. One day he's going to come to the big celebration. He's going to have a fun time. I know it. Oh God, it's going to be cute. Can't wait. And I got to meet Yao Yao. Yao Yao's cute. She's the new character. And we also got to meet some characters from Fontaine, which I don't necessarily believe will be like reoccurring characters, but are definitely setting up some of the like tone for Fontaine, if that makes sense. We met a man named Dvorak. Yes, like that Dvorak, like the composer. And he runs a music festival in Fontaine, and he's been trying to get this music festival to go essentially like global, if that makes sense. He's trying to do like a world tour sort of thing, and you end up helping him set up the first event in Liyue to try and promote it. And this is like the first like situation where like Fontaine is actually like reaching out to the rest of the world. So we don't have like any events necessary. We're gonna have the second half of this is gonna involve Lisa like going back to Sumeru for some for like her studies, which is cool. We already know she was like a scholar there. So it'll be a fun like reintroduction of like Mondstadt and Sumeru's like relationship. But like the attitudes in Fontaine are really interesting so far. It's very much like there seems to be a lot more whimsy than was present in the other countries.
Okay.
Except maybe Mondstadt, but like we mostly hung out with the the knights and like had to fight a dragon. So like it's a little different when like you have an actual dragon right there sort of thing. But like in Fontaine, the whole thing was like, oh well, like my ancestor was rescued by a fairy who was blessed with song, and like I want to find out like the history of that fairy. So I came back to Liyue where he was rescued, and it's like, so like what's this fairy like? And it's very much like, it feels very much like Hans Christian Andersen kind of inspired like fairy tale fairy with like the big wings and that kind of thing. Even though it turns out that's not how it was at all. It was actually they were rescued by an Adeptus and stuff. But like hearing how that story of an actual event became a fairy tale in Fontaine is cool.
Okay, now I get that.
Yeah. I think probably Fontaine is going to be coming in like September, October time.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be generally when they release new countries. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been a good time. There's lots going on continuously all the time.
Oh yeah.
There's too much going on. Genshin Impact is so busy. But yeah, that's that. Other than that though, Rocky and I played Among Us last night with Gata and friends.
Mm.
And it was a good time. I avenged Rocky's death at least once.
It's true. One time she tried, but we were both mercilessly betrayed. It was too late.
It was too late. We were doomed. But it was a good time. We tried out the new hide and seek mode. New to us, I guess. Mm-hmm. And it was actually a lot of fun. They did a very good job making it spooky without being like, it's got a lot of horror-inspired elements without being, like, overly scary. Yeah. If that makes sense.
I mean, it feels a lot like Dead by Daylight. The Among Us tasks are a nice, like, additive to that formula. I don't know, though. I know some of the maps are big, so I know we had a bit of trouble with, like, Polis at the beginning because it's such a big map. But I feel like there was a pretty good trade between, like, killer wins and, like, crewmate survival.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed pretty balanced.
Yeah, it was a good time. I recommend it. If you haven't played Among Us for a while, I recommend giving it a shot. It's a good time. Especially with CrewLink. The CrewLink definitely adds some fun to it.
I feel like Among Us should just do business with CrewLink.
Mm-hmm. That would make sense, I think.
I wonder how that would affect their public lobbies, so that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, maybe not for public lobbies, but like for friends, it's okay. CrewLink is for people who don't know, is an add-on where you can hear each other locally, like talking. And also, the imposters will hear the ghosts of everyone who killed them, who they killed. It's a good time. I'm honestly probably gonna play some more. Just like in public lobbies.
I mean, you do love Among Us.
I do like Among Us. It's a lot of fun, I think. I know not everybody likes it, but I like it. I have a good time. I'm also very bad at being the imposter. Absolutely terrible. I don't think I won once as imposter the entire time we played.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just not very good at lying.
Nah, I just feel like you're out of practice. You used to be really good at imposter.
You think?
Yep.
Aw. I thought I was bad the whole time. But like the way that they're doing the new like visual, what is it called? The collectibles, the little cubes, the Cosma cubes and stuff. I think that's a good way to get not like a ton of money, but like a little bit of cash inflow for Inner Sloth.
I think it's an interesting way to do microtransactions.
Mm-hmm. Because they're not all like, there's no reason to, it's not pay to win, it's not anything else. It's just, if you want to look kind of cool, if you want to wear a special hat or something,
I know that this has to have happened at least once at this point. Like, there's some part of me that says that on a long enough timeline, Inner Sloth just gets bought by Epic. Is that too much cynical? Like, I don't know. Like,
I mean, I think that's pretty cynical. Why do you think they have to be bought by Epic?
Well, I remember when Rocket League cost $20, but a whole bunch of people had Rocket League for free because they had it when it was the PS Plus game for the month, and so like it had this like huge installed user base that got the game for free because when the game launched, it launched into PS Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and then Rocket League converted to free. You know, like anybody could just get Rocket League, and and all of the stuff that you would spend money on in Rocket League was like cosmetics. And it just continued to do huge business and huge business and huge business and like continue to be like part of like the cultural zeitgeist. And eventually, like Epic was like, we shall take some of this Rocket League money. We'll take some of this Fortnite money and just acquire the Rocket League. And it just like it like I remember when like Fortnite effectively just did an Among Us event, and and this is something that we know that like specifically the Fortnite dev team is like. I mean, like the whole like Fortnite battle royale thing is based on like Fortnite kind of like pivoting and flailing and going like our product isn't getting enough attention right now, and like I continue to be convinced that they just roll up games which are free to play, which get mainstream cultural attention. Like why allow a game to exist that just like captures like mainstream people's attention when you're trying to in your stupid game like have a concert by Dead Mouse brought to you by Doritos? Like buying Among Us means they can either control the cultural value that it represents or dull the cultural value that it represents. They can do one of the two. Either way they win.
I mean, that would require Innersloth agreeing to a sale, though.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have any reason to right now. I mean, they worked with HoloLive. They got HoloLive money on there.
Yeah.
They don't need Epic money.
Money is a lot of money, though. It is a lot of money.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I don't think Innersloth wants to be the biggest company ever. I don't think they're interested in that. And maybe most people are interested in more money. I can't toss that aside. But as far as I can tell, they're doing okay. And they seem happy with what they do. And they seem to be able to do the things that they want to do. It's not like, I mean, I'm not in their boardrooms, I'm not in their shareholder meetings, so I don't have like premier access or anything. But as far as I can tell, Innersloth seems like they're fine. And like people, or I guess companies that tend to make those sales are either they want to go for a big expansion for a thing that they don't currently have, which doesn't seem to be a problem that Innersloth has, or they are in trouble and they need money, which also doesn't seem like a problem Innersloth has.
Yeah. Okay. All fair. So, all right. This is me being talked off the ledge. Maybe it won't happen.
I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying I don't see a good reason for it to happen right now.
You don't view it with like the same grim inevitability that I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no reason for it to happen. There isn't even like a rumor that it's going to happen.
Mm-mm.
Well, I think that if it does happen, it'll be one of those things that come out of fucking nowhere, like so many like acquisitions in this industry at this point, like where we just I think that's honestly one of the reasons why I'm convinced that there's not going to be a sale of Ubisoft right now, is because like there's always rumors that somebody's looking at Ubisoft, and like I think that people just are they take a look at it and go like, yeah, you're definitely like the ugly kid with a pork chop tied around their neck. Like nobody wants you, Ubisoft. Oof. There's too much downside to buying that company.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think that doesn't mean people aren't looking at Ubisoft, though.
Yeah, that's true. They're always. I
think they're just trying to weigh the pros and cons a little more carefully than they would with other acquisitions.
I'm now, as we speak, asking Chat GPT to do dark business.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm asking it to write a press release announcing the sale of Innersloth to Epic.
Why?
Because he wants it to happen.
Well, not that I want it to happen. It's just like I've continued to enjoy how easily Chat GPT can be weaponized for evil. Like I there was a thing I did earlier this week where I asked Chat GPT to write a internal company email announcing 10% layoffs, while like also announcing that like the company salsa competition would be still happening in the break room.
Mm-hmm.
And it just fucking did it. It just like, here you go, friend, 10% layoffs, salsa's in the break room. It just, I just have to wonder, like, and I know that some folks like ran into like the original thing I tried to get Chat GPT to do when I was doing a like a layoffs announcement email, like it flat out refused to do. It told me it was unethical to write it, and so it wouldn't do it.
Interesting.
Oh,
Yes.
that's nice.
Yes, so I ran into limits. I asked it to announce a 15% workforce reduction, and also to tell folks how to get to the warp zone in Super Mario Level 1-2. And like ChatGPT was like, it is inappropriate to make a joke about video games while announcing a labor reduction. And I was like, oh, ChatGPT said not going to tell you how to get to the warp zone while you're firing people. However, it will tell people where the fucking salsa contest is. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna steal that salsa. Mine now.
there you go. What else is going on, Tegan?
Other than that, Alex picked up the Dead Space remake, and I haven't gotten to watch him play it at all this weekend, but he's having a good time. So there will be thoughts on that coming next show.
Word.
After I get to see it. It sounds like a good time, though. I did manage to scare him once by just walking into a room, so you know that's a good sign.
Jeez.
I entered the room slightly out of his peripheral vision, and he jumped in his seat. And I was like, oh? Hello? And that's it. That's all the things I got.
So Dead Space forthcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Familiar friend games, which are just good to return to over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Including Hooray Good Genshin event is good.
Yeah, my favorite Genshin event.
Yeah. And Splatoon's going to get gross.
Splatoon's going to have an interest. A lot of people were really hoping that we were going to get another big run, but they haven't really figured out. They haven't told us how frequent the big run events are going to be. So they just said that they happen periodically, which sure is that time frame, but it's not a very helpful one.
So, Rocky, what's going on, man?
No, I'm just hanging out.
Just hanging out?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a balance change in the Hearthstone.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A good one?
It definitely targets all of the classes that have been powerful on various parts of the ladder, and like, I'm interested because like the changes that they made should theoretically like really upset the entire apple cart, and like thus far, like what I've logged in since the balance changes, it really does look like folks are struggling to find the new meta. So like at like higher levels of play, more sophisticated levels of play, Rogue has been very dominant, and there has been like a particular card which has been like the glue for like Rogue decks now for like quite some time. And it is a card called Wild Paw Knoll. The card it's a 5-mana 3/5 that has rush, and the way the card used to read was costs 1 less for each card from another class that you add to your hand this game. And it has like the issue with that particular card was there's another rogue card which allows you to start the game as another class. So you're not a rogue until you actually play a rogue class card. So as long as you're playing neutral cards, you stay this other class. And so what was happening is people would draw their Wild Paw Knolls while they're still disguised, and it would just like deeply discount the Wild Paw Knoll for all of the rogue cards in their hand because they were technically, quote, another class. Yeah, and so it meant that like rogues like had like this like very, very powerful tool for like early board game control. And so they've changed the flavor text in Wild Paw Knoll to read costs 1 less for each non-rogue class card added to your hand this game. which means like the card is still decent, but like it's not something now that like rogues can just use to like own the board on like turn 2.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And they also changed another rogue card called Sinstone Graveyard. The Sinstone Graveyard is what they call a location, something where when you like you press it on the board, like it does a thing. And the text for it was summon a 1/1 ghost. And the way it used to read was has +1/+1 for every card you played this turn. And now the text on Sinstone Graveyard reads has +1/+1 for each other card you played this turn. Because if someone, like, basically people were like doing these like really like ridiculous combos with like giant numbers of cards, because like one of the things like Rogue is designed to do is discount cards and like make them cheaper to play.
Mm-hmm.
They would like work these huge combos, and they would make sure that like they would do it when they had Sinstone Graveyard in hand. So do giant elaborate combo, reserving 3 mana to play Sinstone Graveyard, and then play Sinstone Graveyard and press it. So that way they would get the added buff of actually playing the location on the turn too, like giving the minion that they summon and like an extra 1/1. And like I appreciate that they did that, because it also means that like early giant minions from Rogue is like less possible. So like they had the board control with Knoll, and then the early giant board presence with Sinstone Graveyard. The Demon Hunter quest was like completely busted. Or like the quest rewards were so good it didn't even matter to Demon Hunters if they completed the quest, just because the incremental rewards along the way were so valuable. Yeah. And so they've changed the first phase of the Demon Hunter quest from draw 4 cards in one turn to draw 6 cards in one turn, which I think is going to pretty much make the Demon Hunter quest unplayable. I have not seen a single quest Demon Hunter since the change. Another card that they changed was Shock Spitter, because on most parts of the ladder, like the basic bitch parts of ladder, Hunter is like very, very common. And there's this card called Shock Spitter that when they originally introduced Shock Spitter, it used to be a 2 mana 3/3 that Battlecry did deal 1 damage, and the damage it would do would be like improved by how many times your hero actually attacked throughout the game. So if you keep on attacking, like Shock Spitter does more damage when its Battlecry happens.
Okay.
And so like hunters would try and figure out ways to do stuff like create additional Shock Spitters in their deck, or duplicate Shock Spitters, or return Shock Spitters to their hand. So that way they just had these cards which had these like really powerful battle cries, because they would keep on like building their Shock Spitters. And so they turned the Shock Spitter from like a 2 mana card into a 3 mana card, but Shock Spitter was still like all over like the lower portions of the ladder. And so they just like nerfed it again, and so now Shock Spitter is 4 mana in an effort to, control it. And there was a neutral card, which was like pretty much showing up in like every deck. It was like, which is always like a sign that like a neutral card is like too powerful. If the benefits of the card are so good that people are just like slotting it into whatever deck they're building. It's like, yeah, like it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like I'm going to find a room for like, I'm going to find room for Astalor Bloodsworn. Like they would just do it. Like Astalor is this card that says add Astalor the Protector to your hand, mana thirst, 5, deal 2 damage. And the original ultimate version of it, because like each time you would play like a version of Astalor, it would put the next phase of Astalor into your hand. And the ultimate version of Astalor was Battlecry, deal 8 damage split across all of your enemies, mana thirst, deal 16 damage. It was like very, very like common to be playing somebody, and like they would like maybe play a brand Bronzebeard before they played the first phase of it, so that way it would like throw 2 copies of the next phase into a person's hand. And so it was like very conceivable that you would like get to late game and your opponent has like 2 cards in their hand that just do 16 damage.
All right.
Yeah, I know. And so like they increase like the mana thirst costs of the first 2 phases, which means like folks have to wait later to play the full to get the full benefit, so they can't just like sit there waiting for the thing to happen. But like what I thought was interesting, because it's obvious like you can always tell like what they want the meta to look like, because they did a bunch of nerfs, but they also buffed a bunch of cards too. Like there's a card called Battlefield Necromancer, which is a Death Knight card. And like what Battlefield Necromancer does is at the end of a turn, Battlefield Necromancer raises a corpse with taunt, and before the stats on the corpse were one attack, 2 health, and now the corpse it raises is 1 attack, 3 health. And it does this at the end of every turn if you have a corpse to spend. And I'm like, okay, because that's a 2-mana card, like now it is like significantly more powerful in like early game. So they seem to be trying to make like Death Knight like a lot more viable. Like there are a lot of like they buffed like 3 different Death Knight cards. They buffed a Druid card, and like looking at this Druid card they buffed, like I still don't think I'll see anybody play this fucking card. Like I have not seen this card once, even after they buffed it. It's a spell called Wither, which says like choose a minion. Each friendly undead steals 1 attack and 1 health from it. And it's like, okay, so you're relying on druids playing undead. Druids don't really play undead. Like I don't know what you think you're doing. Like so like in order for this card to have any kind of value, a druid would have to have like an undead heavy deck, so that way with like lots of little creatures, and so you could use that card as removal, and it just doesn't happen. Like like druids don't play undead. It's just not part of their style. Like druids play lots of cheap spells to like ramp their mana quickly, and then put out big creatures that they've discounted heavily, and those big creatures just aren't undead. They buffed a priest card, and like it's one of those things where like the priest card that they buffed is like a cool card and it does a neat thing. It's just like the meta doesn't have room for this like cool idea right now. It's this card called Haunting Nightmare, and it has a death rattle where when Haunting Nightmare dies, it quote haunts a card in your hand, and when you play the haunted card, it'll summon a 4/3 minion on your board. Like that's cool, but there's just not room for that in the meta right now. They're just like the benefit's just not good enough for the card cost. So like I mean, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but like where like I don't want to get like at the risk of having already done it, I don't want to get too far into the weeds on these like Hearthstone balance changes, but like it has definitely like upended the apple cart. Like we were definitely in a place like in the meta where like aggro decks could not succeed at all. Like aggro decks could not get like, which has been very unusual for Hearthstone. Because like normally in Hearthstone, it's just like here comes the fucking aggro decks, but like there have been so many combo decks and tempo decks and control decks that like aggro could not get any kind of like traction. Like aggro has been unable to find any kind of traction, and like they specifically commented, with these balance changes that they're like, oh, we're hoping to give aggro decks a chance, and like on one hand, like I agree that like. There's not really any aggro in the meta right now to speak of, but also, like, is that a crisis? And couldn't that simply just be resolved by introducing new cards in the next expansion?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Card games are hard to balance.
Yeah, didn't I hear about some like Pokemon card which had been like banned for 20 years as returning to the meta?
Not banned it was not allowed, not by competitive play, but by like the company because they were being sued over it.
Mm-hmm.
The Pokemon company was being sued over a Pokemon?
Yes.
Who
Specifically a likeness that was made on a card.
like a people likeness or like another animal critter that somebody else owned?
So, Kadabra, at least in its first run, was alleged to look too much like a certain magician's act, and the magician was suing the Pokemon company over it. And apparently they had enough money and enough backing to bother the Pokemon company about this so that they couldn't reprint the card. Hence why it was out of print and why people couldn't play it. And, recently turned out that the magician withdrew the suit, made a sincere apology, and now people can play with Kadabra again.
Yay!
Oh wait,
Kadabra's a cool bun.
it was fucking Uri Geller that was suing the Pokemon company?
Yep.
Oh, that dude sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Why does he suck? I don't know anything about him.
Oh god. Like, okay. So and like I'm now looking at pictures of Kadabra, and like I can see the thing that made Uri Geller want to sue them, which is it looks like Kadabra like by default holds a spoon that he bends with his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Which is part of Uri Geller's whole bit, bending spoons with his mind.
Right.
But I also don't see fucking Uri Geller out here suing Warner Brothers over the Matrix. I guess he just thought that he could fucking win with the Pokemon company. But like one of the like okay, so things that Uri Geller has done that suck.
A new segment on the show.
Yeah, like I have a strong distaste for this guy. Like in there was a point where like in his career he was getting brought in by like a lot by like law enforcement agencies because he's like, I'm a psychic, and so like somebody would be like missing or whatever, and like he would show up and be like, oh yes, I see a body of water, I see it, like this kind of thing. And it's just like this guy is obviously just like taking law enforcement agencies and like the families of people who are missing and or murdered like for a ride. Like he got brought in by like police in Hungary in 1992 when like this model named like Helga Farkas disappeared, and like he told police like, oh, don't worry, Helga will be found in like good health and it's okay, she's just been like vacationing and she didn't tell anyone. And like Helga Farkas has never been found. Most folks believe like she was murdered, but like she disappeared in 92 and was never seen it like again. He did this thing like where shortly after 9/11 he was offering to quote help family members of victims speak to their loved ones on the other side.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a dickhead.
Yes. And like that made him that definitely made him like a target of like the stage magic community, because like most people who are like like ethical magicians, and I can't believe I'm using the phrase ethical magician, but like most folks who are like ethical magicians believe that magic is entirely about illusion and it's not at all about like emotionally taking advantage of people. Like full stop. Like like make a fucking bird appear or do a thing with a card. You don't take somebody's like trauma and like exploit them. And so when he started like telling people that he was like communicating with like the dead after 9/11, like I was happy to see like the magic community like come together to be like, yeah, fuck this guy, fuck him forever. Like that was like when James Randi like came for him hardcore. Because like Uri Geller started saying stuff that like that he had visions of 9/11 before 9/11 happened. And like that just, it continued to like people are like, oh yeah. So if you knew 9/11 was going to happen, then why didn't you stop 9/11, sir? Like so we had some of that. There was like some like soccer club in England that like brought him in to like bury crystals on their soccer pitch, so that way, like so that way they would do a better soccer. Like he charged them that, like just consistently, doing like shitty, stupid, unethical things. In like 2019, like he told people not to worry about like Theresa May because he told people that he would psychically stop Brexit. He's like I have the power to psychically stop Brexit. Don't worry. So yeah, this is Uri Geller. This is the man who sued the Pokemon company.
Oh my god.
Yeah. What a fucking time. This guy. Jesus. Oh. Thanks for coming to our new segment, Why Uri Geller Sucks.
Who knew it would be so popular?
Yeah. So I guess I also want to talk about like what I've been doing for most of the week, which is participating in the Sundance Film Festival virtually. There was there are certainly some movies like that were at Sundance that were not available for folks to watch virtually, and you had to be in like Park City, Utah, to go see. But like they did have a ton of stuff that folks could watch at home. And thus far I have watched 15 movies for Sundance this year, and
That's a lot of movies.
Yeah, and I have until 11:55 p.m. tonight to get in a few more. At which point, like it shuts down. So it's been a lot of fun, and it made me think that like I guess like my first like general thought and like and how this relates to our primary area of focus, which is video games.
Allegedly,
is that like I think that the way that the video game industry right now, like we're in a place where like the video game industry is like a 2 to 3 year hype cycle for like major AAA titles before they're released. Somebody, generally during I'll call it in an E3-ish time of year, because E3 is like relatively meaningless at this point. So, but during the like the summer advertising cycle, during the summer lull for major titles, somebody will like do some like like either stand in front of a crowd or do a video announcement and go like, "Hello, friends, we're here today because we're all excited about Big Title 4. And we know that you loved Big Title 3, but here, we're really revolutionizing the industry with Big Title 4. Big Title 4, it totally reinvents player experience in an open world environment. If you take a look at the map, you'll see the places that your character, beloved your character, known from previous video games, Big Title 1 and Big Title 3. Big Title returns, but now his map, you'll see the places that were resonant to him. You'll see the places that were meaningful to him. You'll see where he's circled places where he had intriguing encounters. You'll see places where the map has become more worn because he had to get it out during the rain. Big Title 4, we realized that the map is so vital and so connected to the player experience. We wanted its representation on screen to reflect that connection that you, the player, have. Take a look at your sword in close-up. You'll see where there's been little chips in the metal, and you'll engage with visual novel elements when you go to smiths to sharpen your sword.
I've ever heard a game developer talk about a video game like this.
You don't think that there's like video game developers that like peddle their features like they're reinventing the fucking wheel?
No, I think there are, but I just don't think I've ever heard them.
Okay. Um, it's definitely like a key feature of like say Ubisoft presentations.
Okay.
Yeah, where they're like, "Hey, check it out, everybody! We've reinvented the wheel. Now they're round."
Ubisoft, the famously well-performing video game company right
Yes,
now.
Ubisoft. We swear we're not on a ventilator. The company.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, but like I think like there's something which is like really like wearisome about like that 2 to 3 year hype cycle because honestly like so often what it is um they make like this big polished expensive announcement where they like create cinematics which are designed just for the announcement. They truck out like the lead developer and stuff, and it turns out that the game in question is not going to be out for another like 2 to 3 years because they're near the beginning of production, but they just want to like try and ramp people's interest, and then they try and goose it like every like with like a drip feed of information, like oh, okay, here's a trailer 6 months later, and people lose their minds, and it's just and um and like and maybe it's just me, but like I do like there are segments of like the film industry which are drifting toward that style of presentation. Like it occurs to me that like Kevin Feige at Disney does get out there with like what is essentially a PowerPoint slide and be like, "Hey everybody, Guardians of the Galaxy 87 will be out in exactly 6 years," and people are like, "Oh, that's going to be lit." But so much of the film industry still doesn't operate like that, and you hear about movies like a few months before they come out or whatever. Like they'll hit a major festival. Critics will cover that film at that major festival, and then after it gets covered at the festival, then it just like shows up in theaters. That is the cycle of awareness. The cycle of awareness can be measured in like a period of like a few months instead of like multiple years. And like I can't help but wonder if like that would be better for the game industry because people end up like tying up so much of their identity into like shit like buying a video game. Like I have gotten so tired of like this whole discourse around this fucking Harry Potter video game. Holy shit! Like even if you were to somehow take like who J.K. Rowling is out of the conversation, there's so much about that game that just looks like fundamentally bad. Like it's making like crappy video game decisions that are at this point like 15 to 20 years out of date. Like structurally it very much looks like a PS2 ass video game. Like a very very like licensed it looks like a licensed PS2 game, like with a level of gloss for like the modern era. But like people are just like committed to liking it either for reasons of like I have to like it because I'm a transphobe, or they're like, oh, I have to like it because I'm a millennial that grew up on Harry Potter. And I just wonder, like, would we have been better off for the discourse around that game if the discourse around that game had been a few months long instead of like multiple years? I don't know, I feel like I've been rambling here. Like, what are y'all's thoughts?
Why do you think companies market their games that way?
I think it has to do with like with what the budgets of AAA games are at this point. Like every AAA game is such a big bet that they are trying to do everything they can possibly to try and make sure that like that when they roll the die it comes up 7. Like there is no such thing as like having a AAA game that bombs and that they then don't have to like go hat in hand on the next earnings call and be like, sorry investors, we so desperately fucked up. We really thought that like big title 4 was going to be huge and we did everything we could. And so like I think that it's I think that it has to do with covering their asses to investors. I think it has to do with like bloated budgets. Like when big video games cost 9 figures, can you afford to have like a media awareness cycle which is only a few months? You know, like I mean, I think that the root cause is that they really do believe that it takes them 2 to 3 years to make everyone aware of their fucking video game.
Well, there's a lot of competition for our attention.
Yeah, there sure is. This isn't necessarily, I guess, the podcast for individual films that I saw at Sundance and then liked. This is not the place for that.
Patreon content! And if you think it's not, you're incorrect. Look forward to that one in February. I'm putting it on there right now. February. Brian's favorite films from Sundance Film Festival.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is definitely a thing that I could get behind.
That you should do. You owe it to the people.
All right. Are we talking about any news this week?
No. Fuck news.
Yeah, news can be skipped. It's fine. Hey, everybody, this has been Impossible Coin. It's a show we do every couple of weeks. You can find it where podcasts are found: iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud.
Fuck SoundCloud!
Thank you, Teeks.
Yes. Fuck it.
And there's music at the beginning and end of this podcast. If you are interested in who made it, it's Big Sach. He's one of our patrons, kid brother of the show. He was actually on, I think, last week's show, if I remember correctly, or last show, rather. You can find his work at SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Big Sach NJ. He's also on Bandcamp. Do we have his Bandcamp link yet?
You know, I don't think we do. Or I suppose I could just listen to the time that he was on and just dump it into these fucking notes.
It'll get there.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We also have a logo. It was designed by Lauren Moran. She is way too good for us. And if you're interested in her work, you can find her on Twitter at Lauren Moran. And she also has a Patreon, just like us. And speaking of Patreon, we do want to take this moment to thank our patrons for everyone that supports us. Brian, I believe you have the up-to-date list.
Yes, I do. And the first person I want to shout out is somebody who I always inevitably stumble over their shout out, which is Sighard Albrecht, aka the premier waifuologist Sig. See, I still managed to do it. I still managed to stumble. We also thank you, Nebula, for being a patron. Thank you to Chat of the Wild for being a patron of this show.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you to the aforementioned Big Sach. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you to do you all call Joe the granddad of this show? Is that the preferred nomenclature?
Yeah, that's our grandpa.
Okay. Thank you to Joe Spiro, the granddad of this show. Thank you to Oscar Garcia, who has I think definitely been with us as a patron from when this popped off, and has said some very, very nice things to us about how much this show means to him, and I really appreciate it. And thank you to Tuan Castillo. We appreciate it, sir. And those are our patrons.
If you're interested in joining these illustrious folk, you could join them at patreon.com/Impossible Coin Podcast. But if you're not interested in that type of a commitment, you can, talk to us. We're available on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Brian's on Twitter. Tegan's on Tumblr. It's all Impossible Coin. No dashes, underscore, anything weird like that. And Teagues and I also stream a few times a week at twitch.tv/Impossible Coin. So any of those places.
Also, you can find us on Discord. We have a Discord, and we watch anime every Sunday with our Discord friends.
It's true.
It's a good time.
And Brian, is Star Trek Night making a return this week?
It is. With Sundance wrapping up today, Star Trek shall resume on Tuesday.
Word.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's us. That's the show.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for hanging out, everybody. Peace.
Thank you for podcasting.